Hi, welcome to Lovesarangae with Peter and Andrea. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you on a journey into the exciting world of entrepreneurship, relationships, and the secrets behind achieving that coveted glow. Are you ready? Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Lovesarangae with us, Peter and Andrea. Today we're doing something a little bit different as a request from some of our customers. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down the 5 pillars of skincare. This is something that we created many years ago when we started our skincare company. And it is, in our view, the foundation for long-term skin health. So what are the 5 pillars of skincare? It's cleanse, exfoliate, treat, heal, and protect and seal. So we believe that these are not just the steps in a routine, but they are the foundation to skin health. Whether you're a skincare enthusiast or just starting out, this episode will help you understand how to build a skincare routine that truly works for you and your unique skin. Are you ready, Peter?
I am. Okay, so let's dig in. And this is an important episode because this is the foundation of what we've built our brand on. The cleanse, exfoliate, correct, heal, and protect and seal, the 5 pillars or principles. And a lot of our customers have emailed in asking us to cover this in a little bit more depth. So I think this is an interesting one and an important one. And before we get started on the actual steps and going deep into it, the important thing to realize is there can be multiple steps in the principle. Just because there are 5 pillars doesn't mean there are 5 steps. Korean
That's
skincare,
right.
Yeah. So, as our listeners already know, all of our principles are based upon Korean skincare routines and Korean skincare historical routines. And, the K-beauty routines can go anywhere from 5 to 12. I have seen 15-step skincare routines. Yes. And we will cover Korean beauty and Korean skincare steps in another episode. But if anybody says Korean skincare routine is only 10, they're incorrect. It can range anywhere from 5 to 15. Yeah. It depends on your skin type, your skin condition, your age, et cetera, et cetera. So,
That's right.
So we keep that in mind. Let's get into it.
All right. So the first step, or not first step, but the first pillar is to cleanse. And in Korean skincare, Koreans really believe that the cleansing step is the most important step in the entire routine. Many people in Asia will have 3 or 4 cleansing steps, and they take their time because, truthfully, if they're not cleaning your skin properly, then it doesn't matter, and I say this all the time, it doesn't matter what products you're putting on after. You're going to have acne, you're going to clog your pores, your skin is going to be uneven, the texture is not going to be ideal. And that's just a fact. So stop wasting your money and start properly understanding what cleansing means and how to do it effectively for your skin. So someone who wears a full face of makeup might cleanse a little bit differently than, say, a teenager who just wears sunscreen.
Exactly.
So that's also important to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think, some color that I can add to this conversation right now with cleansing is that we have to kind of understand where the Koreans are coming from, right? If you look at Korea and Southeast Asia, maybe not so much the North, but East Asia and Southeast Asia, our skin types are generally a little bit more oily than, let's say, Scandinavian or Western European skin types or Caucasian skin types. So we're gonna have uneven skin texture. We're going to have a little bit more issues with breakouts and a little bit more issues with sebum and toxins getting trapped under, mixing with the sebum and getting trapped under dead skin if you don't cleanse properly. So generally, what we see is anywhere from 3 to even 4 cleansing steps for someone who really wants to cleanse properly. If you're wearing makeup, something like a micellar water is highly in demand. Then you have oil, because oil cleansing or oil binds with sebum. Oil binds with oil to cleanse the oil out. Then you have a foaming cleanser, which kind of rinses away everything, including your dead skin. And in the meantime, you don't want the cleanser to completely strip away everything. So you have a little bit of toning or a little bit of hydrating on top of that, because steps 2 and pillars 2 and on products don't go on dry skin. It goes on a little bit wet, not soaking wet, but a little damp skin.
Damp.
And so you want to kind of prep the skin for the next phases as well. So that all kind of falls under cleanse. And you could also even consider exfoliating a part of the cleansing step. Some people do as well. The reason why Saranghae, or we introduced the double-step cleanser, is because by and large, if you want to be able to kind of compress all of these cleansing steps into as minimal number of steps possible, you need two, the oil cleanser and the foaming cleanser. Those two will be the pillar of cleansing. And then you can kind of broaden the cleansing step from there. And that's why we combine the two steps together to give you one for a North American audience, because not a lot of North American customers will deal with 4 cleansing steps. Right?
I'm one of them. I have young children. We have 2 businesses. It's busy. And so I love my skincare routine, but I'm not going to spend an hour in the morning and an hour at night every single day with my skincare. I just won't do it. And so in order to make sure that I am doing it, I have to create a routine that is effective, but it also fits within my day and my 100%. Lifestyle. So I think the idea of the double cleanse is brilliant because the oil binds to the oil in your pores and pulls them out, and then the foam washes it away instead of just pulling it out and leaving it there, which is the function of the double cleanse.
Exactly.
And then the next step would be the toner. And the toner our toner anyway, will remove any excess that has not been removed with the cotton pad.
Exactly.
So in our world, a double cleanser plus a toner is what we would consider the cleansing step.
Yes.
The next step is the exfoliation step. So Peter, maybe you can share, how does exfoliation help with skin renewal, and what's the difference between physical and chemical exfoliation? Yeah,
so exfoliation, so I'll give you a quick story. So in Korea, we never had private bath houses. Like we don't have a private bathroom. We used to go to a public bathhouse and take baths, once or twice a week, because wasting water was a waste for most families. We would go to a public bath, and one of the services that you could get was a full body exfoliation. And we call it te. Yeah, we call it te, dead skin or te. And what it is you basically lie down on a table, and they'll take these red cloths that have that are very abrasive, and they will scrub you down. Ouch. And it kind of hurts. Yeah. It kind of hurts. I'm not going to lie, I dreaded those sessions. But
That's a little bit like the Turkish bath.
Yes.
It's painful.
And my mom used to say, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Oh.
Right? In Korean. And exfoliation was the final step of a fully clean body, a holy body, right? Ooh. So let's take that philosophy into exfoliation. From a technical perspective, the reason why you exfoliate is because we grow new skin all the time. So every 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, our old skin gets pushed to the top. It's dead now. And our new skin comes up from the bottom. If you don't exfoliate properly, the dead skin starts to mix with the new and binds with the sebum, and it starts to basically cover your face. And when you say ashen skin, when people say, I don't have this glow, my skin doesn't look shiny, it looks very ashen, that's because your dead skin is now covering your face. And you don't realize it, right? Because you put products on, you put makeup on, but slowly over time, it builds up over your skin, and it creates problems.
One thing that I notice when I haven't exfoliated in a while is my makeup application isn't as smooth.
There you go. There's one. Absolutely.
So it doesn't go on as well. It doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
It actually looks like my goal is, unless it's like a party or wedding or something where I want my makeup to really stand out, I don't want it to look like I have a lot of makeup on. I want it to look like this is my natural glow, right? But when I haven't exfoliated, it actually looks cakey, like I'm just putting stuff on top of things that needs to be removed. So that's one way to notice whether it's time to exfoliate.
So what people won't realize is, look, no matter how much you put concentrated correctives or serums or creams, if your dead skin is built up on top, it will do nothing for your skin. You must have live skin. You have to work with your actual skin and not the flakes of dead skin that are building up. Okay, so that's why exfoliation is very, very important. It is like the foundation after cleansing and exfoliation are basically creating a canvas for your skincare to do its work. All right.
That's a good way to describe it.
Very important process. Now, the difference between physical and chemical, I have a 50-50 split in my opinion as to which one's more important or not. We provide a facial brush with our cleanser. That is the basic exfoliation. If you don't do anything, at least use the facial brush when you cleanse, and that will help exfoliate your skin at least 50 to 60%.
So that's a physical exfoliation.
That's a physical exfoliation.
So you are physically, with a brush, exfoliating the skin or removing the dead skin cells. It's not a tool. It's not a machine. It's not a product. It's you physically with a brush.
Exactly. And here's my opinion on the automated brushes and also on actual physical exfoliators. I believe, now you may have a different opinion, but I believe that as a physical exfoliator, the soft thistle facial brush that we provide is the maximum that you should go.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you should be using little particulates in physical exfoliation. What do you call them?
Exfoliating brushes, I guess.
No.
The machines.
Not the machines, but the actual creams that you coffee scrubs or scrubs.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you were talking. Yeah, coffee scrubs are way too harsh.
Yeah, so maybe for your body, but even for your body,
it's different skin, so
it's a little thicker.
I think it is better if it's quality ingredients, but for the face, do not put coffee scrub in it.
So no coffee, no scrubs, no physical scrub. That basically scratch your face. And two, you don't need automated brushes. It's the effect of the automated brush gives you maybe another % at best, right? What really does work though is using a brush in conjunction with a cleanser.
Yes.
Without rinsing it off yet. So when the oil is on your face and bound, using the brush to actually loosen the sebum up, that works.
Yeah. Right? So what Peter is saying is when you're using the cleanser, you put it on, rub it into your face, add a little water, foam it up, and then put water on the brush and then start massaging your face with the brush. That's really effective. But if you're using the brush, the way to use the brush is that way. If you're going to put the oil foam cleanser on with the brush, so putting the cleanser on the brush and then massaging it into your face, we don't recommend that. Because the way that our cleanser works, you put it on dry face, dry hands first, and that's what binds the oil.
Exactly.
And then the water is what sort of moves it out, moves it away. One thing to also remember with the mechanical facial scrubs, the ones that like the tools where you plug them in and they do the work for you, yes, those can work, but they can also really damage your skin barrier. So you're taking a risk when it's unnecessary. It doesn't necessarily work better. So our advice is to use the physical brush, you doing the scrubbing with a gentle brush. And then the next step can be, for example, if you have acne-prone skin or once a week, you're using the AHA, BHA.
Yeah, so let's go into that right now then. The chemical exfoliation.
Yes.
So in other words, it's a chemical peel. If you have highly acneic skin, really, really acneic skin, especially impacted acne, you'll go to a dermatologist and they'll give you a 10% salicylic acid. A 10% salicylic acid is literally a chemical peel. It will peel layers of your skin off, hence take care of the acne that way. We offer a 2% BHA, AHA, and the BHA, beta hydroxy acid, is a salicylic acid, and it binds with oil. AHA is alpha hydroxy acid, and ours is lactic acid. Lactic acid is the acid that comes from milk. The Egyptians used to use that quite a bit, actually.
Yes.
Back in the old days, lactic acid was a necessary or a very important beauty ritual for royalty. They used milk to exfoliate their skin. And chemical exfoliators have their place, and they're very, very effective, but they're also very harsh, depending upon where you find them. Now, what's interesting is you will find AHA, BHA in creams, in gels, in serums. My professional opinion is that it is less effective as part of a different pillar.
It's like sunscreen and a moisturizer.
Yeah. It's better.
Less
it's
effective.
Far more effective to separate out your exfoliation step versus your healing and moisturizing steps down the road. This is the reason why we have the 5 pillars, or else we just jam everything into one product, right?
In the wrong order.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work that way. The analogy I give is always building a house. The house is built from foundation, pouring the concrete, putting the wooden the structure, the electricals, the roof. Everything has to happen step by step by step, not all at once, right? And so that's also the same with skincare. All right.
So how often should we be exfoliating?
Oh, it's a great question. Great question. It all depends on how much your skin can handle the actual exfoliant. So for example, we always recommend that you start once a week at nighttime, because beta hydroxy acid is UV sensitive. Not just UV sensitive, it makes your skin UV sensitive, right? You'll burn easier. So once a week, and then as you get used to the exfoliant, twice a week, 3 times a week. And to be honest, I think every other week is the maximum. Every other day is the maximum you go. You don't need to exfoliate with a chemical peel or a chemical exfoliant every single day. Some people do. Yeah, some people do. If you have very oily skin, and it's very active, perhaps it's necessary for you. But I would ask you to think long and hard about whether it's really working for you at every day, or if you can just scale it back 3 to 4 times a week.
But I would ask you to look at, if that is the situation for you, so also look at your lifestyle.
Yeah.
The dietary choices, how much you're sleeping, look at your hormones. I would look at other things if that is something that's happening for you. I have very dry skin, and I use the AHA BHA once a week, and I'm very happy with that. And then I use the exfoliating brush, the physical brush. I use that every other day, and that's enough for me.
Yeah. I came to a point where I was using, because we're the founders and I have to test this out just to see what happens. I was at a point where I was using it almost maybe 5 times a week. And then now I use it once a week now, just to make sure I exfoliate everything out. What happened was I accidentally combined it with retinol. Yeah, with the retinol and the AHA, and it burned the corners of my eyes.
Yeah.
So for about a week, oh my God, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. It looked great. It looked like
after a few days later, but it was
what it looked like was somebody took a sandpaper and just sanded everything down. I was like, wow, I look so young, but it really hurt. So I would not recommend that.
Don't do that.
That's the exfoliation step.
Let's move to the next step then, which is the treatment phase or the active phase.
Yeah.
And that's where you use, for example, the vitamin C, the retinols, the bakuchials. That is where the azelaic acid, PDRN, that's where all these treatments come in. So how do we know which active ingredients our skin needs, and how can we layer them correctly for maximum result? This is a big one. Layering is a big one, knowing when to put what where. So I guess back to, how do we know which ingredient our skin needs?
So first and foremost, now that you have cleansed and basically exfoliated your skin, now you have a smooth, porous, clean slate, right? You have a blank slate to work with. And guess what you do? You introduce a serum or a concentrate that penetrates your skin into the deeper layers. You see how everything works? You're building everything on a foundation and one step at a time, right? So this is where the concentrated correctives go, because this is where the correctives have the most effect on our skin, right? And within the 5 pillars, we have a secondary rule, a general rule of thumb, which is thin to thick. So you apply the thinnest serums, and then the thickest come after, right? Yeah. If a formulator or if a brand has executed the concentrated correctives correctly, then they will put the most powerful correctives into more watery forms so that it can be absorbed, easily absorbed and very quickly, okay? And it's also the one that the corrective that you want to use the most, what has the biggest effect on your skin concern, is the corrective that you would put on first. There is one caveat, which is if the corrective that you want to put on first is too much for your skin in the beginning. For example, some people might find our 0.1% retinol a little too harsh initially, or even our 25% vitamin C. Then what you do is you put on a different corrective to blunt the force or blunt the absorption rate.
So like niacinamide first.
Exactly.
And then the retinol.
Exactly.
I'm going to just jump in quickly. So the question is, how do we know which ingredients to put on our skin? So which actives are best for us? The thing you need to look at is what are your skin concerns and your skin age, and then build from there. So for example, if you have acne, and acne is something that you want to target, and you're middle-aged could be 35 to 50, for example, maybe that's wrong. What's middle age? I don't even know. I feel like middle age is like 55 now. But depending on where you are in your skin age, you might choose a retinol, and that would be your active. You might choose if you have big pores, redness, rosacea, for example, you might choose a vitamin C and niacinamide.
I agree with you. And I would, and then, you would basically look at a small section of correctives, retinol, vitamin C, niacinamide, azelaic acid, PDRN perhaps, it's a new one, kojic acid. There's not a lot of correctives. Well, there might be a lot of correctives, but there's only a handful that really make a difference. Yeah. And so you should probably take a look at looking at those combinations. One caveat, I would always recommend adding a 10% niacinamide serum on top of whatever other corrective you're using. It's non-UV sensitive, and it also always enhances the effect of the primary corrective that you're using.
Agreed. If you have skin concerns and you're not sure which active to use, please feel free to write in or send me a DM on Instagram, and I'm happy to answer.
Yeah. One last comment before we move on to the serum healing is you will find that brands will add the actives into other serums or creams. You'll find the retinol cream, etc. They do work, but my recommendation is it works better when it's in its purest form in liquid, because it absorbs quicker and it stays when you seal it. Instead of a cream, instead of doing it from a cream or a gel, which actually has other effects that can negate the effectiveness.
Okay, so the next step is to seal. I keep saying step, but the next pillar is to seal. And right now, skin barrier, that word is really trending. But what does that actually mean? Like when we want to, so we've already cleansed, we've already exfoliated, we've already treated. The treatment phase has created inflammation, possibly redness. It's triggered your skin in a way. Yeah. And so now you want to heal. So you want that active to do what it needs to do, but then you want to support it in calming everything down. And that's the healing phase.
Exactly.
So what would be a product that we have or that someone might use to heal the skin after using retinol, for example? So
let's think of balance, right? Homeostasis, balance. Your skin wants to get back to whatever you do. And the first three steps the first three pillars are inflammatory by nature. Whatever you do, our skin, our body, wants to get back to something called homeostasis, or a perfect balance, right? And to get back to balance, we have the yang, we need to go to the yin. You have to heal and bring down the inflammation, so anti-inflammatory. The three products that we offer are the Aurora Bioactive Collagen Serum. That's a healing serum. Deep Radiance Essence and Serum based on the Triple Mushroom Complex. That's a healing serum. And or the Calm and Glow Snail Mucin Serum. That's also a healing serum. All serums have a slightly different take on other ingredients that can also do skin brightening, also do anti-aging. But the main purpose of those serums is to now help seal the concentrated correctives that you just implemented in prior pillar and help your skin go to homeostasis.
Balance, equilibrium.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so the last pillar is to protect and seal. And like we said, each pillar could have multiple steps. And this is an example of that. So protect and seal, we always hear that sunscreen is the most important anti-aging product. But what else should we be doing in this last pillar to protect our skin daily and to protect our investment of all that skincare that we've already just put on our face?
Yeah. Well, so we offer two creams, the Aurora Bioactive Collagen Cream and the Firm and Lift Regeneration Cream. Bioactive collagen cream is a little lighter, so it's great for summer and for oilier skin. Firm and Lift is our bread and butter. It's the triple mushroom cream is probably our most popular, and it works really well as a night cream. It seals as you sleep, which is the most important time for skincare, is nighttime when you sleep. And then you would layer on, hopefully, in the daytime, an SPF 50, because that helps seals everything. And makeup is also important too, right? Because when you use makeup in the daytime, that also helps seals everything in. There are products out there, makeup products, that are made to seal skincare. That's pretty cool.
Kind of like cheekbone.
Yeah, that's right. It's nice. It's a nice product.
Beautiful product.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jen Hyper.
Yeah, shout out to Jen.
So how does sealing and moisture play a role in keeping skin youthful and resilient?
Well, so it's all about the outer layers of the skin, the stratum corneum. When the stratum corneum is dry and inflamed, it's basically like it's almost like it's sick. It lets all, it's the outer skin is meant to keep external toxins out. So germs, bacteria, things that make you sick. The outer layer of the skin is like your armor, right? For your armor to behave correctly and to do all the things it's meant to do, it must be moisturized, must be hydrated, and it must not be inflamed. That's really the basics of it all.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, hopefully this was helpful. Remember that skincare is more than just a routine. It's a ritual of self-care and self-respect. By following the 5 pillars, which are, let's go back, cleansing, exfoliating, treating, healing, and protecting and sealing, we're giving the skin exactly what it needs to thrive. I hope that this episode has helped you to rethink your skincare habits and routines and inspired you to look at what you are doing right now and perhaps make some adjustments so you get the most out of all of your skincare.
Excellent.
Thanks for tuning in today. I will see you next time.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Lovesarangae with us, Peter and Andrea. If you've enjoyed this episode, leave us a review. Your ratings and reviews help more people like you find our show. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with someone you think would love it. Until next time, love yourself, love one another, and love the world.